You better get one.
Right.
Well,
Got a little
hello
bit of
everyone.
let you know I got a little bit of a cold, but I'm good.
It's all good. Okay, you know what? I just want to welcome you, Mr. Charles Carey. Thank you so much for coming to talk to us about the fear of public speaking.
Right.
Mr. Charles, give us a little background of who you are and what can we expect from this talk?
Well, I am a people magnet. I can't help
Mm,
myself. I'm just wired that way. I think it stems from many, many years ago when I used to always try to fit in, and that didn't really work out so well. But now I do it with a more authentic reason and with a sense of purpose. So
okay.
I'm just a people person. I love people. I've been pretty much that way all my life. I've been in the speaking arena for about 17 years. I love what I'm doing. I love engaging people, adding value, learning. I mean, I'm just really all about this industry, and actually, and I'm still growing. So, yeah.
Well, what can you tell a new person that's trying to come into the speaking arena? What would be one of the first things you would tell them to get started?
Well, I would want to know why first. Do they think, excuse me, that this is something they'd like to do?
Okay.
What's the curiosity, or what's the purpose? What's the reason? What's drawing them to wanting to do that? And even if they're not sure, but they're still wanting to move forward, I would ask them, have they had any experience? Were they inspired by someone or something? And if all that was, passed behind us and they were like, yes, 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 I like it. I was inspired because my pastor, my company, I heard a guy, whatever it may be, then I would ask them how much or how serious, are they about it? Because I think the leaders of our world today are going to be our children, obviously. They're the ones that are going to be the next doctors, policemen, politicians, accountants, et cetera, et cetera. They're going to hold down all of these professions in the world that we currently have filled right now. So to be a public speaker, it does so much for them, instilling confidence and and boost their morale. And when you know how to do it right and it's authentic, they have an opportunity of being a better them than they probably ever realized that they could possibly be. So
What I've heard as a public speaker is that you need to always have a story. What do you think about that?
well, that's true. You do need a story. Now, if your thing is that you're trying to be a keynote speaker or a breakout speaker, actually, regardless of what type of speaker, you should have a story or know how to tell a story, more importantly.
Okay.
Although everyone does have a story, some people lean to storytelling. Some people would rather just, tell their own story. So whatever category, you have to know how to tell that story. And that is very important. And hopefully you've got variety with your storytelling process. You want it sometimes to be meaningful and empowering. Sometimes you may want it to be humorous. Sometimes you may want it to be fact-filled. Sometimes you want to throw some statistics at people. So you need to know how to tell a story, but you got to have balance and you have to know your audience. Absolutely.
So your storytelling would depend upon what your audience is and what you're trying to portray at that particular time.
I think so, but it also depends on your industry.
Okay.
And again, why are you doing it? Are you doing it because you're pursuing it as a career? Are you wanting to be a public speaker or learn what public speaking is about? Is because you're a supervisor at your job, you're a manager, you have leadership in your community, in your place of worship. Why are you trying to, don this hat? Why are you trying to move in that position?
Well, I'm just going to use myself because nobody's here for me to use that I know of except for Mr. Gerald. For me,
Hey, Gerald.
one of my whys is that I'm a author now of 5 books, and I do have a why. My why is that I want to share how I've overcome different challenges as a single mom. I was actually married for 19 years. My ex-husband was strung out the last 10 years of our marriage on crack, and I was so afraid of getting the divorce because I wasn't raised with my father, and I didn't want my children to have the stigma of not having a father, you know. But because of staying so long, I became an enabler for that particular person, because they didn't feel the need to change, because the lights were still on. It seemed like the kids were still being all right, and you know,
Right.
I was still there.
Okay.
So, but I finally looked at my kids, and they were my motivation. So
Okay.
now, Mr. Carey, they're all in college and grown,
Oh, wow.
and so I'm
Fantastic.
like I'm an empty nester now. So now
Right.
my whys have changed just a little bit. I still want to share my story, but I want to share that I've overcome. One of the
Right.
things in my books, it has that little biopic of that particular situation, but I'm not that same person anymore. So a lot of times people invite me, but they want to hear that story. But I want to talk about how I went back to school at 40 and got my master's, and now I'm a doctoral student, you know, and at 50, you know, I'm getting ready to be Dr. Shell now, and I'm a
Okay.
published author. So how do you kind of transition from, and I think it's an art of my storytelling. I do want to highlight that, but I don't want that to be the focus. I want the victory to be the focus at this point.
Well, I was going to say, it's basically a success story, because the beauty of it is that you can relate to so many people, regardless to why they were down, how they were down, what the circumstances around their challenges are, or what the circumstances were. In this exact scenario, it would be great to just, of course, after you have your opening, and depending on the theme of the event, you would just begin to say, talk to the people about maybe your first few books, which may lend to the earlier part of your life and the earlier part of your stories. And by telling that, you're giving the audience something that they can relate to. But as you begin to progress and shift and continue to go up, you take them on the journey with you. You're painting that picture. Even if they ask you to speak about a particular topic, you can touch on things that are off topic somewhat,
Okay.
so that people in the audience may know that there's more to you than what meets the eye, and eventually end up with your current status of how you're moving on and furthering your education. You see, it's just like anything else. When we get on a roller coaster, we're level, and then you start to go up, and you experience things in life, and you think everything is fun and games. Then all of a sudden, you go down. So that may be one of your low points. And at that low point, you may not be to see your way out, but suddenly you go up, and you're swooping around sideways. And then all of a sudden, you shift another way, and then you go down again. And whatever situation you can attach to that, you attach it. Okay. And then finally, they get to find out that through hard work, you was on that incline, and you continue to go up, and now you're about to become Dr. Michelle Roberts. And I said, wow, so she went through all these different challenges, all these different changes, and now she's about to become a doctor. And that is something, you always want to leave your audience on a high.
Yes, exactly.
Always want to leave them on a high. And then you just close, however you're closing, whether it's to sell books in the back of the room or at your table or just to end a talk. You just want to take them on that journey with you, and hopefully you're painting the picture in a way that they can see it and they can actually feel it with you,
Yeah, and the thing is, the books that I read really didn't tell my story. It was just in my bio that they kind of I hit those things. So I haven't written my story because I really didn't want to expose that so much. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now for 2016, I think I'm gonna go on and just put it on out there and be authentic.
Do it. So
Um,
what are the 5 books about?
Okay, my first book is Affirmations for Success because that's what helped me. I like to speak affirmations and speak over my life. And then I
Okay.
did a children's book, Dream Builders, Affirmations for Children and Kids,
Okay.
because I think if we start young with the children, and they are aware of the things that they say over their lives, it'll enhance their lives positively over time. And then I have a travel company, Roberts Travel Services. So I did a book on how procrastination saves you money when you travel, because my customers are always asking me, how can I save money when I travel? So I put it in a book. And one of the ways I developed my travel business was through networking. So I did a book on how 7 steps for preparing and finding networking events.
Right.
But my latest book, since 2006, I've been divorced, and I am, this is 2015. I have
Uh-huh.
been on a dating scene. So I did Dr. Shell's 100 Tips on Dating because
Okay.
I have done a lot of dating
Sure.
online, offline, friend hookups and all that kind of stuff. People are always asking me, to give them advice. And so I said, well, let me put that in the book as well. So
Okay.
I've been doing a lot of what I scope about, especially on Periscope, is about dating, because that's what the audience kind of like. I really love my affirmations, right? But then
Right.
my audience really loves getting information about dating and how to be successful on that. So I had to kind of shift a little bit, and that's what I'm going to be doing in 2016, doing more
So,
relationship and dating type things, because that's what my market is asking.
okay. So what about the other 3 books? How many books are about those 2 topics?
I only have the one book, and I'm developing another one, Girl Get Your Pearls, about you know being successful in dating. Are you
Okay.
dating because number P, are you being played, or are you being pursued? And so the pearls all have a different meaning.
Sure,
And
sure.
so
Definition for each
yeah,
letter. So, so how many books is it in total?
I have 5 currently.
Oh, but they are all about those topics. Is that the idea?
They're all different,
Oh, they're all different. Okay.
they all are different. So, but
Okay.
my last one was about dating, and my next one is going to be about dating and relationships.
Okay. Well, the one thing to me, I think one benefit for you is that you have a variety of things to speak about.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing. But I think that this book that you're speaking about writing now would be very powerful, very powerful. I did a memoir in 2012 called Courage Facing Mortality. Cancer wasn't my only obstacle. And my book became an Amazon bestseller. So just push it and share it. I think that's just huge. Get your story out there, because I always tell people there's someone waiting to hear your story the way you tell it. I can tell people, oh yeah, Michelle went through this and Michelle went through that, and I can use great words and try to sound profound. But when you tell your story, there is a huge, huge difference.
Okay.
So, some of the reasons I think people are afraid or uncomfortable speaking publicly, like even for this format, but some people say, you know what, I'll do a blab, but they wouldn't get on a stage.
Currently, yeah.
Not that they're necessarily hiding, but they're more comfortable. I'll use kind words. It's not that they're hiding, but they're more comfortable in a protected environment. So what they have to do is learn some of the nuances of speaking. And then you got other people who don't care about public speaking. They'll grab a microphone and talk in front of a crowd of 500,000 and just don't think nothing of it. So for those of us that our work dictates that we become comfortable, because you may have to delegate, you may have to give instructions, you may be in leadership position, if it's your civic or your social activities and you have a leadership position, or even if you're an author, there are times as an author being interviewed or being on a platform, you have to know how to tell your story, how to sort of handle yourself in front of an audience, taking questions, giving suggestions. How do you poise yourself? How do you posture yourself? When do you pause? Do you use vocal variety? Do you know how to use vocal variety? Do you know what a pregnant pause is? Things like that. So I think all of the various nuances of speaking are so essential. People have so many fears, and I talk about arachnophobia and claustrophobia, and the fear of speaking, I mean, it's just like the others. Mm-hmm. If someone saw a roach, some freak out. They freak out. They start doing all this, oh my God, but that's their genuine fear. Mm-hmm. So for those who either need to learn how to speak publicly or become better presenters, it's a step-by-step process. And like anything, you have to practice.
So what do you say about practice? Some people say that, I've heard some people say, oh, I just get up there and I wing it. For me, I like to have notes. I like to be prepared. I don't want to seem like I'm winging it. What do you suggest about that?
Well, it depends. Is it a formal talk? Is it a casual talk? Did someone just actually come up and say a few words? Are you teaching a class? I believe that if you're teaching or giving instruction, first of all, you should know your material. But it's reasonable to have notes to a degree. You don't want to stand in front of a class and constantly looking down to read your notes to the class while they're watching you read. You should know your information. There are lots of takeaways, lots of nuances on how do you present yourself, either in giving a training or in presenting a talk on whatever the topic may be. Now, I usually tell people if you're starting out, Toastmasters is an excellent idea of, an excellent way of getting started. Mm-hmm. And depending on where you work at, some companies, they actually will pay the membership for you. In fact, I wonder if anyone in the chat room, is anyone in a Toastmasters club or have been in the Toastmasters club?
I have been myself before.
Oh, you have?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's definitely, for me, it was definitely good for, you never heard of it? Larla, you never heard of it? Oh, okay.
Toastmasters International. I'll put it in the chat room.
Okay, good.
You can just look that up, and there's probably there is a club on Facebook, but you can look it up and find out where there is a club near you.
Yeah.
And then you can, look into it, get the information. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Charles, you have so much going on. Don't be ashamed. Tell me, I kind of was like looking at your background, and are you doing a reality show, or what are you involved in?
At this very moment, as we're doing this interview, there is a party going on in Tampa, Florida. It's called the Keynote Crowdfunding Party.
Okay.
Background on that is, and I'll come back to the fear of public speaking directly. The background on the Keynote is that there were 9 of us in season 1, speakers, trainers, authors, coaches, and we were put in a mansion in Tampa, Florida. And we had private chef, we had masseuse, we had, cameras all over the place. Every day was different. We worked like the devil during the day because we would have to do events. Sometimes we work together. Sometimes we work individually. We had sessions where you learn how to interview, sessions where you learn about applying makeup, learn how to pitch yourself as a speaker or a presenter. I mean, there was just so much going on, so much going on. There was no sleep, I can tell you that. And in the evenings, there was an intensive training about the business of being a professional speaker. Now, I've been a professional speaker for a long time, but I have learned so much more after that experience. And it's really been a phenomenal time to work with one of the top speakers in the world, actually. I don't know if you ever heard of Delatoro McNeil, but I
have, yes.
Well, he's the 32nd top speaker in the world. And it's been a pleasure to work with my brother from another mother. He is so knowledgeable.
Oh, yeah.
And he is on he's just tearing this business up, and he has been for quite some time. Mm-hmm. But so we shot the show. There were 2 seasons, actually. I'm in season 1. We shot the show, and then what happened was it was pitched to your major television networks. I'm talking about BET, TV1, Bravo, all these people, right? Mm-hmm. And they loved it. They say it's television quality. but they want to know, hey, is anybody sleeping together? Hey,
they
is
want
anybody hating on each other? And
yeah.
There you
Want
go.
that little drama in there.
They wanted to put that drama in there. And I mean, our thinking is our reputations are very important to us. And you can find that type of negativity anywhere. And we know that negativity is very, it grabs a lot of viewership.
Mm-hmm.
But we also know that positivity is very contagious.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to push the positive because we feel this show is a show you can watch with your children, your grandchildren, your elders, and you can get something out of it in addition to the entertainment value. You can learn what it's like to be in business, learn what it's like to be an entrepreneur. You know, you can learn life lessons. It's not all about business. Some of the things that we do, it's all about life. Mm-hmm. And the people in the show, for example, the people in the show come from every background, every ethnicity. Well, not every, but most of our common ethnicities, genders, age groups, you know what I mean, black, white, young, old, you name it. And we all came from all over the country. So I represented, for my season, the cancer survivor. One lady swam Alcatraz.
Wow.
Another lady was into sales. Another guy was into finance. There was a minister. I mean, it was really a true diverse group. So again, when it's all said and done, we felt that since they wanted to pervert what we did, we could produce the show ourselves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Charles, what is your why? You mentioned that earlier as we get back to the fear of public speaking, and you said you need to have a why. What is your why? Well,
I'm driven. I'm a driven person. Pretty much no matter what I do, I'm driven at it. I'm driven. I'm just, so taken with it. It's just my everything. And when I first really got back in touch with myself, because that's really key. You need to know who you are as an individual. Okay. When I got back in touch with myself after years and years of substance abuse, I had made a vow that if God would allow me to get back to who I am and who I'm supposed to be, that I would get back to people. And part of that process consisted of knowing, how to identify with people. And I use or pulled on my experience as a musician, all the times that I was on stage, all these experiences sort of like accumulated to help me position myself to do what I'm doing right now. I didn't know that was the case because music was my true love. So again, when I got clean and, my life changed, I experienced things in a different fashion and I started looking into Toastmasters. I went to some of the competitions. I got involved. I was a member of a club. One thing led to another, and I started doing counseling. I got certified as a counselor. So you see all these things start to stack up. The deck gets thicker and thicker. And I really got into the fact that I know that I can add value to the lives of other people. And then after I started speaking and things of that nature, then I started learning about the business of speaking. And the more I learned, the hungrier I got, the more I wanted to do it. Became a member of the National Speakers Association, and this is something that I do now. I mean, I've been a national trainer, speaker, and author for, I guess, about maybe 10 years now. So, I've traveled around the country teaching, training, and it's something that I really love.
That is amazing. So for somebody who wants to take their speaking career global, international, what do you suggest? How did you break into that?
Well, I think that I didn't know it was going to happen, but what happened was I was at a conference in Atlanta and I heard Les Brown speak. And at the time, I was at a crossroads because even though I was with a top network marketing company, I was starting to fall out of love with it because there was infighting in the company. And Les Brown said, you've got to be willing to do the things today that others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. And when he said those words, it's like literally in the cartoons, a light went on inside of my head.
Okay.
And I said, wow, I should be doing that. And I said, I need to do that. That's what I'm going to do. And I went home, did nothing.
Okay.
It was just so funny. Did nothing. Went to the next conference. Les Brown was a guest speaker again. That was confirmation for me to move and take action. And I did. I came home and then started looking into speaking and everything, and learning the business of speaking. What do you need? Website, business card, all that kind of stuff. But my I'm probably going on a bit of a rant. I apologize. My why is just grown. The appetite for speaking and doing what I do. I find that I'm doing it very well, and I love doing it. I love engaging people. I love adding value. See, when I get people's eyes rolling up in their head and they're really taking in the words, then that lets me know that I'm doing my job. I'm reaching someone. So since then, I've had my own signature program, written 3 books, several audio programs. And, just last year to this year, I was on a book tour, and I just love doing what I do,
So how do you find your opportunities? I mean, I know that you've been doing this quite some time. Does it just fall in your lap, or do you send out speaker one sheets, or do you people just come to you now because of who you are? Or do you reach out to other organizations and say, this is what I have, this is what talk to the people like myself who want to be where you are and go higher?
It's all of the above, and actually I'm not even doing enough. As much as I do, that's not nearly enough. Okay. I speak for government. I do trainings for government right now. I speak for nonprofits, community organizations. Sometimes I speak at churches. I create my own events. I really am fully engaged. And right now I'm focusing in on a signature program of my own, because every morning we wake up, what do we hear in the news? 2 to 5 people have been murdered, usually young people, right?
Yes.
Or you hear about some bizarre kidnapping or whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. I am a firm believer that we all have a skill, gift, talent, or ability. And if those people that are conducting these negative activities felt that they mattered, knew that someone cared, if they were inspired, encouraged, told, shown that there was more to them, that they're showing us, their activities would be different. And their activities would be different. The reason for it would be because they are more engaged and using their gift and using this new thing that they have found, that they've come across, that makes them feel special, that makes them feel good. When you feel good like that, you don't have time for the nonsense, because you want to do that thing all the time. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So my signature program, the 7 defining steps to the cure for your business and existence, is perfect for leaders, supervisors, managers, entrepreneurs, people that are re-entering society because they have a strike against them, so they may not be able to get on their feet as quick, or people that are like college students. It's kind of weird when it comes to young people. I have a different program, but a lot of times the college students or the young people that are going to college, they're doing everything that they're told, not realizing that is not necessarily their genuine, authentic, innate gift. But they can still be good at it. I'm not saying they can't make money at it, but that's not necessarily their genuine gift. Okay. You see, when you're in your gift, you're on a whole nother level. It's not even about money, but people don't know that because most don't do it. They get a degree and they still work in an unrelated field. Now, what kind of sense does that make?
It's crazy.
It doesn't make any, yeah, exactly. So with my program, it gives people an opportunity to identify with themselves, to learn more about themselves, and to really tap into that gift, identify and locate and search that skill, that gift, that talent, and begin to pursue it so that they can truly be fulfilled and truly be who they were designed to be.
Wow, Mr. Charles, you have brought so much to this lab. I mean, so much knowledge that actually we need to be paying you, but I'm not gonna pay you.
Oh, you're not?
Not
no, but let But let me tell you
Go ahead.
something.
Go
The
ahead.
truth,
I'm just kidding.
the truth of the matter is sometimes it can be deep. Sometimes it can be seen or viewed as profound. But the truth is, it's simple. It's truly simplistic. But we don't hear it or don't get it because of all of this noise.
Yes.
Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and PlayStation and Xbox and Netflix and the movies and the music videos and the Periscope and the Blab. And when do you have time to truly get in touch with you?
That's
Here are the
profound.
answers. When do you get the answers to your prayers? There's always noise. Always.
So how do we quiet that noise? What do you do to center yourself and really get the answers that you need so that you can be focused? Because I find that for me that there is. I mean, I'm like I told you, I'm a single mom. I work a full-time job, and then I'm doing the author, the speaker thing, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm pulled from so many different angles, but I want to be focused. 2016 is coming, and I'm like, okay, I need to go a little higher. What do you suggest for someone like me?
Well, how often do you speak?
I speak at least twice a month right now.
Okay. So the thing is to speak even more so, first of all, as much as you can.
Yes.
Whether you're in Toastmasters, whether you're doing it at your place of worship.
One of the things I thought about this for 2016, I'm sorry to interrupt, is that I was going to host my own shows. Host my own events. I heard that I said, well, you know what, I'm going to do that more quarterly, just host my own events. I've had some people that want to get involved and do that. So what do you think about that?
I think that's an excellent idea. In fact, one of the things about the keynote is that we talk about Toastmasters a lot because there's an episode in the show that we actually go to a Toastmasters club and we speak and present.
Okay.
And we were trying to get Toastmasters behind us so that, we can get that support. But I think to go back to your original question, how do you stay focused? You have to know why you're doing it. People that are doing it for money, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that if that's your thing. I don't know how authentic it's going to be or how much you're going to stay with it, but you have to have a reason, a why that goes beyond dollars and cents, in my opinion. You have to have a why that really makes you want to literally, as corny as it sounds, jump out of bed in the morning. You have to have a why that when it's time to go to bed, you don't know how to turn it off. You're still reading that book. You're working on that presentation. You're working on your website. You're always doing something to polish up your skills, to polish up your business. So you have to, in my opinion, again, everyone works their own way, but I think the smartest thing is find your own niche.
I like that.
Once you find your niche, you know what your wheelhouse is.
I like that. You talked about books and about reading. What are some of the things that have helped you, to read and to help you to grow? I like personal development. I like the industry I'm in, so I read people like Les Brown, John Maxwell, Love him.
Of course, Tony Robbins, Willie Jolly, even, of course, Del Toro. I've read a lot of his material. Robert Kiyosaki, Think and Grow Rich. Even, it's funny, even some of the network marketing books, the multi-level marketing books, those books are really, really very important because many of them, if not all, many of them, they speak about personal development. And that's the name of the game, regardless of the type of business you want to be in. Brick and mortar, network marketing, envelope stuffing, it doesn't matter. Even a job, you have to be a better person. Your personal development skills need to be way above par. If your personal development skills are on point, then you will come across a lot more interesting. You will be looked at or viewed as more professional. People will probably cater to you or look to you for the answers, and that's just how it is.
Wow, this has been absolutely amazing. Any other last minute things that you want to leave? Any last minute nuggets?
Sure, absolutely. Let me put this in a group as I begin to speak about it.
Okay.
I am just so over the top excited about what we did with the keynote. We're really excited. Like I said, there are multiple backgrounds of people on the show. We had a great time working with each other. We really built some really strong relationships. This is one of the promo cards for the show.
Awesome.
You have all 15 contestants right here on this card, so you can see them. And of course, I got my finger over the logo, but that's it right there. And again, there's a show going on right now, a party going on right now in Tampa, Florida. And I just put the link in the feed, but if you go there, you'll see all of the perks. You'll see a message from our executive producer, and there is a trailer, should be a trailer there to give you some insight on the show, the kind of feedback we got, and the perks are off the hook. I mean, from basic stuff on up to the most big thing. I mean, they're talking about you can get a walk-on the show, you can get producers credits, coffee mugs, T-shirt. I mean, no matter what, there's a perk that fits every budget. What I was doing with people that I knew, I was telling people that if you made a donation of $25, I would, not only do you get the perks, I would be willing to give, if I have one, I would be willing to give a copy of one of my books, Radiate the Brain and Change the Game, to whoever that is that makes that donation. So, and of course it's free and the shipping is free. So not only do you make the donation and help the show and get the perks from the show, but you also get something from me, either that book or my other book, Courage Facing Mortality. So be a part of history. Help us help you make a difference.
Wow. Mr. Carey, this has been absolutely amazing. We need to interview again, because I think that this has not been enough time to share everything that you know, but you are phenomenal. I thank you for just encouraging my audience, encouraging me.
Sure.
I feel that for my 2016, you have already given me several different things that I couldn't have even thought of myself. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you taking the time to come and speak to my audience and everything that you've shared tonight. And I hope that it's been helpful for you as well.
Absolutely. And, I know I didn't go into everything regarding all the fears, but, and all the nuances, but I'm going to be rolling out a new program. I'll probably be doing a Google Hangouts called The Cure for Public Speaking. Are You Afraid of the Crowd? So for those of you that are here or on social media or platforms, if you see that, The Cure for Public Speaking, the number 4, Are You Afraid of the Crowd? That will be the hangout that we will be bringing to the masses very soon. So look forward, because we just did one that had some pretty good feedback. It was a little rough start, and it was my first hangout where I was doing all the controls, but it was called The Cure for Your Business and Existence. So 7 defining steps for the cure for your business and existence. So the next one will probably be The Cure for Public Speaking. Are You Afraid of the Crowd?
Oh,
and thank you for having me on too.
Thank you. And definitely share that information with me. I'll share it on my Facebook. I have about 4,000 personal friends, and on my business page about 3,000. So definitely my community. And we recorded this, so I'll definitely send that to you, and I'll share that, because some of the people couldn't be on here tonight, but they said please record it so that we can catch Mr. Carey. So thank you so very much. I really appreciate you. It has been phenomenal. I'm glad too that we took a relationship from Facebook and brought it to another platform called Blab, and took it to the next level. So that's always exciting to me as well. That not only to reach one type of audience, but then we took it to another level tonight. And you brought some meat. You brought some true meat tonight for me and my audience, and I so appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Any, please tell us how to reach you on social media. How to
Oh
how can we follow you?
Well, is there any questions before I go?
Oh,
I don't want to leave anybody out. I know Troy had asked, was there some real substance in the show? And I was going to say to Troy, definitely some real substance, because you got 9 people in the first season, different backgrounds, different demographics. You know, some of us came from hard times. Some of us came from harder times. And we're showing that no matter who you are in America, who you are in the world, that if you want to make it, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to sacrifice to be a better you? And when you learn from one of the top money earners, there's no better place to be. So there is a lot of substance in the show. Please go to thekeynotecampaign.com and check out what we have to offer. Now, to contact me, everything I have is Sir Charles Carey. Oh, you're welcome. I'm trying to see. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see. Somebody saying thank you. Let me put my glasses on so I can see.
Fakaki, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I think that's my brother Haki. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. My contact information is the same on all platforms. It's Sir Charles Carey. So whether you're going to Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, Instagram, it's all Sir Charles Carey, one word, right behind one another. And same here on Blab, same thing on Periscope. You know, reach out, follow me, let's connect. And if I can add value to the lives of someone, I would be more than happy to do that. I'm probably one of the only coaches, speakers, or trainers that is truly affordable and willing to give value. I shouldn't say that. That's not true. Many probably are willing, but I don't know what they do, so I can't speak on someone else's business.
Well, I know that you definitely add value for what we had tonight, and I really appreciate you guys. We're going to close out, and like Sir Charles Carey said, follow him on all social media platforms. Please follow me as well. I'm at M.A. Roberts INC on Twitter. On Facebook, I'm Michelle A. Roberts INC on there, and we thank you so much. We will post the recording as well. So thank you.
Okay.
And have a great evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.